So for our final episode this season, we're featuring the role of drones in capacitating local government units in improving their delivery services. We have someone from the Sorsogon City government who will share how drones were utilized in the aid of search and rescue operations in a landslide incident after Typhoon Usman hit Sorsogon City last December 2018. And our next speakers, they'll discuss the role of drones in the responsible land governance in Mindanao project of GIZ Philippines, which seeks to develop land management capacity specifically in the management and protection of the Agusan Marsh. To give a brief background on our speakers, let me call Engineer Riel Alca, the Director for Projects and Administration of the Foundation for Economic Freedom. Ms. Rhea.
Good morning. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. So we have 3 speakers, 2 from GIZ Philippines and 1 from the city government of Sorsogon. So our first speakers are from the GIZ Philippines, currently working on the Responsible Land Governance in Mindanao project. Sir Elmo de la Cruz is the Senior Advisor of the project in Regions 11 and 13, while Sir Ryan Salazar is its Technical Advisor. Sir Elmo heads the coordination and implementation of the project, while Sir Ryan provides advice regarding the utilization of digital tools like GIS, mobile data collection, and UAV-based mapping to the project's partners, which are the DNR technical personnel, local government units, non-government organizations in areas of project implementation that could help improve land management. The project supports them in the conduct of capacity development measures like drone flying, processing of drone outputs, GIS, and in the actual implementation of mapping activities that contributes to local planning. So our second speaker is Jason Palma. He is currently a project evaluation officer at the City Planning and Development Office in the city government of Sorsogon. He has extensive training and experience in GIS, disaster risk reduction and mitigation, drone flying and mapping, and emergency response. In fact, he is an emergency medical technician and an emergency medical responder. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in social science, major in political science and sociology from the University of the Philippines, College Baguio. His interests include photography, graphic design, GIS, drone operation, mountaineering. So let's hear from them. I will give the floor now to Sir Elmo.
Okay, magandang umaga from Davao City. So I'll just directly share my screen. Hi kay Sir Rene from Doc Mayor. He sends his regards. Okay, anyway, yes, I will just directly share my screen for the task given to us by FEF. And thank you once again for the opportunity given to us by FEF to present our project using the drones in our project sites. Okay, I hope everyone can see my presentation.
Yes, sir, we can see your presentation.
Thank you. Yes, once again, my presentation or our presentation is entitled Digitalization in Land Management. As mentioned earlier by Rayalyn, that we are using digital tools. Particularly, one of the digital tools is the UAV, in our project site. So we will be talking about one of our sites in Mindanao. So I will just add just would like to also introduce myself briefly in addition to the presentation earlier. So I'm from Davao City. Yes, Senior Advisor for Region 13 and 11. I oversee the implementation of the projects and coordination with the partners in our project sites. So my background really is I'm a fisheries graduate, and And yeah, and I've been working with development work since 2013. So I will now turn you over to RJ first. Jay?
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Ryan Salazar, and also I'm with Elmo de la Cruz for the RLGM project, Responsible Land Governance in Mindanao. My background is computer science, and I am assigned here in Butuan, Region 13. And yes, Sir Elmo.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. So yes, before everything else, I would like to introduce our principal advisor, Ms. Dr. Herwig Mayer, also known as Doc. And I would also like to introduce you to our teams because we are spread all over the Philippines, but primarily in Mindanao. We have project sites in Region 10. And we have project sites in Region 10 and 11, 13 and 11 as well. Okay. So for our project, our primary objective the main objective is the management of public lands by national agencies, local government units, or local governments and communities. That includes indigenous cultural or indigenous peoples. No, that is oriented towards sustainable and conflict sensitivity. So our focus or our fields of activity is on the institutional framework at the national level. And as mentioned also during the introduction, land management capacities of our partners at the local government. And of course, we all are also looking into the raising of awareness or public awareness on the transparency on public dealings on land policies. Then for the criteria, we chose our sites. We chose our sites. No, primarily we have 5 criteria like the presence of IPs or the marginalized group. Second, we have the overlapping tenurial instruments or the land uses, no? Overlapping land uses. Then, of course, we need a functional cooperation or a management body, existing management system, no? Management body. Then the willingness of the LGUs to work with us. No? And last but not the least, the accessibility or the security concerns, as we are bounded with our security concerns at the GIZ company. Okay, specifically, our project sites is, one of our project sites is Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary. And it is located in Region 13 under the province of province of Agusan del Sur. Agusan Marsh is composed of 6 LGUs. Then they have 38 to 40 barangays, all in all, within the Agusan Marsh. Then I will just briefly show you the status of Agusan Marsh right now. So of course, before the expanded NIPAS, we have at least 19,000 hectares of land area of the protected area. Then in 2018, we expanded, the Agusan Marsh expanded to almost around 40,000 hectares. Then, of course, given the the 5 criteria that I showed you and our objectives, Agusan Marsh is also with several or with challenges of overlapping issues. So we have the protected area, we have the SPZ or the strict protection zones, the CADT, the CLOA, and the local conservation areas, among others. So briefly, the situation is we have at least 15 calculation of overlapping areas within the protected area. So we use also, as mentioned, we use UAV or the drone as a tool for land management and planning. So before we do this, we finalize the priority sites with the partners from the DNR, the provincial government, and the local government. So of course, before anything else, there was a request for technical support. Of course, we zero in for the harmonization of plans, and of course, we started with the capacity development of partners like specifically on UAV, on flight planning, UAV basic operations, image processing, layouting for workshops, and community workshop as a follow-up and presentation of the results of what we did. So after this, we also, the next level is to present it at the municipal level, at the planning department, and even at the SB level or the policy making body. Then all of the plans will be incorporated or consolidated in the CLUP of the LGU, then with the ADS DPP within the area and the provincial development where it belongs, and of course, the protected area management plan because it is within the Agusan Marsh. In addition, we also incorporate the climate change adaptation plan, the DRRM plan, and the gender, and now the recent pandemic, of course, that will be included in the plan also, or in the harmonization of plans. So I would just like to show you what we have or what we used as what drones were used during the aerial mapping in the sites. We used the Phantom 4. We used the Mavic for smaller areas. Like the Phantom 4, we used this in Mount Apo, in Agusan Marsh, and in Hingoog Bay. Then this smaller, the Mavic, we used it in the site of Egypt Foundation in Davao City, the ancestral domain of the Obumanobo. Then RJ can also give a little background or a little brief background about the new hybrid drones we have. Jay?
Yes, we also ordered the fixed wing, the vertical takeoff and landing fixed wing, for us to be able to have an experience also on this type of drones. Kasi wala pa kaming experience on this, and maybe it could help us to cover more areas, especially in the marsh. But for now, it's not yet with us. It's now in Manila and will be delivered soon here in Caraga. Also, it has the feature of PPK pala, or post-process kinematics. So it has this PPK module. So we will try this out soon.
Okay, thank you, RJ. Okay, going back, Agusan Marsh, this is Agusan Marsh. And since Agusan Marsh is 40,000 hectares, with the limited time of the project, we prioritized an area or 3 areas only. So that's that involves 2 municipalities. No? So this is in San Francisco, Agusan del Sur, and Rosario, Agusan del Sur, still within the Agusan Marsh. Of course, there are some overlaps or outside the Agusan Marsh in order to compare the results. No? Okay. So we limited it to 3 barangays. Whatever result will be processed here, it will be shared to the 4 LGUs. So this will be sharing of experiences. Okay. So of course, what we did is we had a pre-planning flight. We also capacitated or coordinated with the respective partners like the DNR, the PASO office, and the provincial government. So this is now the site, the actual flying in the community. So those we supported the PASO office personnel flying the drones, and these are one of the aerial view. If you've heard about the floating houses in Agusan Marsh, these are the floating houses, no? So the one on the river, of course, in the rivers. Okay. So of course, this one is also a very, scenic aerial view of Agusan Marsh. Also, we would like to share this important photo. It's not only the aerial view because 2 weeks earlier, we did an aerial mapping. Then we saw a lot of marami kaming nakita ng mga usok, like burning, no? Kaingin. Then after 2 weeks, this one, no? This picture. After 2 weeks, wala na kaming nakita mga usok. I mean, kaingin is a daily activity within the protected area. But I think indirectly, the flying of the drone, because our intention was to really get the actual scene or actual uh, activities or the actual image of the Agusan Marsh that time, the real time. No? So indirectly, we also help in creating awareness that DNR or the partner are going around. No? Anyway, so of course, after the gathering of the data, we invited the three communities to present the result and also to validate or plot the areas that we 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 uh, we process the image, no, where we flew the drone. So in-invite yan mga barangay council, women's group, youth, IP, leaders, farmers. So in order to validate the area and to, because the actual map or the existing map doesn't really coincide with the map from the local stakeholders itself. No? So may mga validation ginawa. Then after the validation, we need to present it at the municipal level. So we invited also, the planning personnel were also around to digitize the map, the plotted map or the validated map. So this will also be used in the updating of their CLUPs, no? The comprehensive land use plans. So we supported them. So of course, that's not the only plan. We are planning to, drones can also be used in other plans, no, for updating. No? So after the CLUP, we will then integrate it with or harmonize it with the Agusan Marsh Protected Area Management Plan. So I guess, yes, RJ, please continue with this. Thank you.
Yes, so hindi lang kasi drones yung tools na ginagamit namin for this project. So we also use these other tools. So we have the mobile data collection. Sir Elmo. Next slide, please. So we train them or capacitate them to use this tool to also gather in data on the field. So hindi na sila mag-use ng pen and paper. And then also we use this other tool, the basic QGIS module, and also we train them to produce their own map and then integrate din naman yung mga na-collect nilang data from the this mobile data collection tool, which is freeware naman siya. And also the basic QGIS is a open source software. We also use the tool which is the UAV based mapping training module, which is, by the way, on the next slide I will be telling the story about it from the previous project. So from the previous project, which is the COSERAM program, they have developed this training material, which is the UAV mapping training. And then through series of consultations, they have developed this. And then after the project ends, year 2018, it was also handed over to NAMRIA, so National Mapping Agency of the Philippines. It was handed over to them, and then they integrated it to their training modules. So if you would go to their website and look into the Geomatics Training Center, because they have this department where they train, where they offer trainings. You could also avail it, the UAV mapping for GIS training. But currently, hindi siya available because of the pandemic, kasi this schedule was the previous schedule that is posted on their website. But due to the pandemic, is inalis mo na nila yung UAV because it requires physical participation. So mayroon UAV operations. So inalis muna nila, so hindi siya suitable or possible ngayong pandemic. So all of these tools are ginagamit namin or supporting the LGUs, the DNR technical personnel before. And then now, here comes the new normal na meron ng mga travel restrictions and then bawal na yung mga group gathering. So, naisip namin to modify it and adapt sa new normal, which is mostly online. So, minodify namin yung training materials and then do it to continue or to keep the ball rolling with previous cooperations. In-adjust namin siya and then make it suitable para ginawa namin is para less yung presentations and then more on homeworks yung nangyari for this training modules. So this was done on for the first batch is May to June for the Region 11 partners and then July to August for the Region 13 partners. Yes, Sir Elmo. Next slide, please. So these are some of the snapshots from this online tutorials. So these are our classmates from DNR, from the other projects of GIZ, from university, from research department, from the Egypt Foundation in Davao. And these are the results or kung saan nila pwedeng ma-apply yung kanilang learnings. So for biodiversity assessment or community profiling, field research, biodiversity assessment, protected area law enforcement survey, farm area survey, and mapping. So this are yung naging schedules for the online trainings. And then for the second batch for the Region 13 is nagkaroon ng major increase sa number of female participants comparing it sa Region 11.
Okay, thank you, Arjer. So for the results of the using of drones, so yung outcome na, yung output or your outcome, of course, yung na-achieve yung aming goals and objectives project-wise, no? Then of course, since we are under the peace building promotion, peace building program ng GIZ, of course, na ano rin namin yun, no? Na achieve din yun. And of course, these are links sa sustainable development goals natin, particularly yung sa 16 and SDG 16 and 17. So for the benefits of using drones, so the ownership, it is very important, no? Yung ownership ng LGUs mismo, no? Na sila mismo nag-ooperate, sila ang nagpa-process, and sila ang nagpe-present. So we were there supporting them, no? As requested technically. Then of course yung synergies, no? Most of us we observe, no, in the area na, or in the locality na most of the national agencies and LGU local government, yung nagiging challenge is they don't talk to each other. So here we bring them together and discuss things and look for solutions or among themselves, no? Then of course yung land use planning, no, update, ma-review, and of course it's a long-term plan. That's 5 or 10 years depending on the plan required by the plan. Then of course we also promoted forest protection and of course the raising of awareness, no? Not only for the local government unit personnel but also for the constituents of the area. So yung mga drawbacks lang dito is of course yung mga multitasking, specifically for the drone, yung multitasking ng mga UAV operators, ito yung mahirap. Usually nakikita namin nahihirapan ang mga tao, so walang focus. And I think maraming malalaki ang capabilities ng mga drone operator but multitask usually. Then yung regular versus OJT personnel, ito yung kailangan talaga maingat kasi meron kaming mga partners before or yung mga sa ibang areas that all the agency really handed everything or put all the responsibilities sa OJT. Then nung naghanap ng greener pasture, nadala lahat ng technology, lahat ng mga knowledge on ano, then walang proper turnover. I'm not saying that OJTs do that, but importante rin na may kasabay na regular on guiding them or doing things on using the drone and even in the planning process. Then importante rin yung problema nila is yung mainstreaming. No? Most of the LGUs or most of the offices, agencies, hindi talaga natututukan to. Then, of course, yung na-mention ni RJ na the UAV online, most of the feedback during our evaluation is yung hands-on. The hands-on part is really important. Okay, so for the learnings, me and RJ can also discuss this. No? For the learnings, UAV, sa amin, UAV is an important tool for land use planning. No? This is part of the development work. So importante din yung proper coordination at all levels before operating a drone or UAV in a specific area. Then, of course, ito rin, importante, no? Present right away the result of the UAV activity as soon as possible because people are used or the local people are used to, okay, mga researcher na naman yan, ewan ko ano nang nangyayari dyan. So this is very important, no, for trust building, no? And of course, yung ownership ng kanilang area, malalaman rin nila. Then be practical, visualize the end user's profile, yung mga free applications yung, and open source ang mga ginagamit namin because some of the LGUs are really lack funds on putting premium on the UAV or GIS department in their locality. Then of course, practice makes perfect kasi yung iba, karamihan magagaling talaga pero pag hindi mo na pa-practice, wala rin. Di ba? So nakakalimutan usually after a year. So usually ang karamihan sa aming mga participants when they request capacity training on UAV, they all had undergone trainings but nakalimutan lang daw. Now, walang opportunity to follow it up sa kanilang offices. No? So, of course, it's computer age. Some LGUs are not also still not investing on the digital world. No? Then, regular or periodic updating, importante rin to. So, exchange learning experience or experiences among pool of experts, of UAV experts. Then, institutionalize or centralize a UAV or GIS section in an agency para malink lahat ng na-link sa DNR, NAMRIA, and so on. Hindi lang yung maski sino lang yung nakaupo, oh yeah, sige ikaw, punta ka doon. Then of course, yung frequency or periodic activities ng area, no? Law enforcement. So yung na-mention ko kanina na yung unang punta namin palipad, ang daming kaingin. Next, after 2 weeks, walang kaingin kasi they were alarmed, no, na merong mga DNR personnel who are flying drones. Then, of course, support the confidence building of UAV operator. Ito yung pinaka-importante talaga. No? So, okay, and be conflict sensitive. I think RJ can add on that. Okay.
Yes, maintain yung sensitivity, lalo if because in our experience, we are doing these activities sa ancestral domains areas, for example. They consider it for the locals or IPs some are sacred areas. So yun nga sinabi ni Sir Elmo na always maintain yung proper coordination first. So in our experience also we coordinate to the LGUs, the DNR, even the military, the police, and also with the tribe chieftains. Sir Elmo.
Yes, thank you. I think that's the last slide and thank you for your attention. Magandang umaga po sa lahat.
Okay, thank you Sir Elmo and Ryan for this presentation. I'm sure we've learned a lot and it's good to see na may mga initiatives na ganito, especially in Mindanao. So you all know, malaki ang lupain ng Mindanao. It's rich in natural resources. Also, the fruit basket of the Philippines is there, which is Davao, and it's really good to see na may mga ganitong initiatives on improving land management administration practices there in Mindanao. And thanks to GIZ Philippines for looking into this and actually inviting everyone to participate, especially the LGUs you've worked with. Okay, so for our next speaker, he's also from an LGU in Sorsogon City, Region 5 in Bicol. Hindi ko na ito papatagalin. So let me now call Sir John Jason Palma. Sir
Hello.
Elmo, ano na lang ng, I'll stop it. Stop share. Okay. So Sir John, the spotlight is yours.
Yes. How's my audio?
Sir, palakas-lakas lang po ng konti siguro.
Ayo, yan.
Yan.
Okay na yan.
Then,
share ko na yung screen ko.
please share na lang the slide.
Yes. Ayan. So, my topic is UAVs in search and rescue operations. So, I am a project evaluation officer of the city planning. Back then, I was detailed at the DRM office. So, the local DRM of the city government of Sorsogon. So, yun. It's more of a Sorsogon City experience during Tropical Depression Usman. So, ayun. Yan. Tropical Depression Usman happened on December 28, 2018. So, on December 28, we experienced heavy rainfall. Then, on the following day, a landslide occurred in Barangay Osiao. It's a coastal barangay in Sorsogon City. Yan. So, initial incident report that we had 10 victims, we had 4 survivors, 2 dead, and 4 were missing. So we move on to dispatch a search and rescue team for the 4 missing. So on the very first day of the operation itself took almost 5 days. So we encountered problems already. So di namin alam kung gaano kalaki yung area ng landslide kasi yung nakikita lang namin yung mga puno, yung putik, tsaka yung slope. So, yung idea kung gaano kalaki, wala kaming idea. So, tapos yung coverage pa ng search area, kung saan kami magsisimula mag-search, kumbaga, scratch, wala kaming pagsisimulan kung saan. So, tapos yung problema pa sa responders and local volunteers are flocking in the area, which itself is becoming a management problem. Mas dumadami yung responder, gusto tumulong, mas nahihirapan kaming i-manage yung operation. We could not make a map sketch of the incident area since it would take a while. So, mas matatagal lang kami magsulat kasi identify landmarks, i-drawing pa. So, mas mahihirapan kami. So, we decided that UAVs gave us the solution. It could be done in a short amount of time. It is accurate for the operations, and a map could be produced quickly and in the field. So, doon pa lang, kaya namin i-render or i-produce yung mapa sa laptop. So, what we did first is we interviewed the survivors regarding the names of kung sino kasama nila, ilan sila, anong edad, mga ganyan, yung mga mga minute details na kailangan para sa operation. So, after that, we made an aerial image of the incident area. Then we input the information into the GIS, the estimated location where the survivors and bodies were found according to the accounts of the first responders. So yung mga unang nakakuha, so pinapaturo, actually pinakita namin sa laptop, tapos yung iba turo saan mo dito nakuha, parang gano'n. So it's not GPS, pero it's more of a visual na representation kasi hindi namin matatagalan pag i-GPS pa. Yan. This is the actual imagery of the area. So you can see, this is the area, the landslide. So, ito ko mas mga 20 to 30 minutes lang para madaanan ng drone yung ma-capture yung area. So, kasi nga, delikado yung area, mabilisan lang yung pag-capture. Yan. So, it is the before and after photos. So, yung sa ibabaw, yan yung before. Ito yung encircled na yellow, yan yung incident area. So, malaki yung nabawas. So, doon namin na-realize na kung gaano kalaki yung landslide area. It's about mga 3 to 4 hectares yung area na naguho. So, yan. So, it's a closer view. So, before the aerial images, yung search area limited lang sa bottom of the slope. So, yan. Hanggang saan lang kami nakakakita. So, yan. So, we were able to do the second day. Kasi yung day 1, malakas yung ulan, hindi pwede lumipad yun yung limitations lang ng drone na na-encounter namin. On the second day, gumanda yung panahon kaya madalian namin pinalipad yung drone. So on day 2, kasi wala na kami makitang from search and rescue, nag-shift to search and retrieval. It means na yung hope na buhay pa yung mga na missing is parang mababa na masyado. Kaya nag-search siya to search and retrieval operations. So sa baba ng slope, sa red na circle, yan yung bodies at saka yung mga na-rescue. So, on day 1. So, to give you an idea about the soil, so maputik siya. Pag nag-step ka sa soil, lulubog hanggang bewang yung katawan mo sa sobrang lambot ng soil. Yan. This is the final map that we produced. So, maliit lang yung points. Yung blue points are the ones rescued, yung mga buhay. Sila yung na-interview namin, sila yung basta yung nakuha. Yung green, yung recovered. So, sila yung patay na nakuha doon sa area. So, these are the actual kung saan yung in-interview namin responder, kung saan nila nilagay, kung saan sinabi nila na saan nila nakuha. So, based on that, nilagay namin sa GIS. So, pag may nag-resurface na body, ina-update namin yung map. So, ito, dito, ganyan. Yan. So, we were constantly updating our maps the moment we retrieved a body. So, because of the UAV, we were able to identify the incident and search area, measure the area and distance of the landslide. So, gaano kalalim, gaano kalaki, yun, yung mga details na ganon. So, ito, before the aerial images, search area were large and limited to guesses. So, nanguhula kami saan kami maghuhukay, saan maghahanap, yun. Access by responders took a longer and more dangerous route. So, nasa tabing dagat, yung daan, maputik, madulas kasi may mga batong malalaki, tapos yung dagat pa, humahampas yung alon, kaya delikado rin. Mas matagal, mas delikado. Search was also not systematic kasi nga hindi nga na ma-manage kasi ang dami, tapos hindi namin alam kung saan kami mag-search. So, dahil sa UAVs, we were able to establish a safe operations command post near the incident area. So we were able na identify namin na safe yung area, pwede namin paglugaran ng operations command post. Establish an easier and safer access for the responders. We were able to rig a rope or a downward slope para mas mabilis. It took now only from 10 or 20 to 30 minutes na access. Ngayon, mga 10 to 15 na lang na access ng responder. So yan. Established and minimized the search area. So naging dalawa lang yung search area dahil dun sa mga points. So parang ito, kasi more likely sama-sama sila. So nung nagka-landslide, sama-sama rin silang nahulog sa tabi. Yan. The search was more systematic. Responders were divided to smaller units. Search team A, logistics, and search team A and B, logistics team and communication. So naging mas strategic, tapos efficient. Then we were able to recover all the missing bodies. So yung missing that last 2, yan nakuha namin. So sa tama yung search area na identify namin na-identify namin using the UAV and the map. So yan, search team A and B, we divided it. Tapos pag may dumarating na mga other rescue units to volunteer, mas madali kami makapag-orient sa kanila. Kasi nga may aerial imagery, tapos sasabihin namin, dito nakapag-search na kami, hindi na kailangan ulitin dito, tapos dito na lang kayo i-deploy. So mas mabilis yung usapan, mas action agad kami. The search and retrieval operations ended on January 2. Yan. So, yan yung access road na mas mabilis namin tapos nakapag-deploy kami, nakapag-rig kami ng ropes. Yan. So in the learnings were the UAVs made the operation efficient, strategic, and manageable. So behind the scenes lang siya na hindi namin nararamdaman na mas dahil doon sa UAV, sa mapa, mas efficient yung operation, mas wala kaming problema, mas madali, mas nakukuha namin yung mga goals namin on the day-to-day basis. So yun, mabilis lang yung story ko. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Sir John, for that
Yes po.
presentation. May I request my fellow panelists to please turn on your cameras so we could see you? Okay. So guys, if you have questions, please do ask them using the Q&A feature. Okay, now we'll begin with the Q&A part of this webinar. Sir, so may isang question po dito from Sir Sorbil Defonso. I think this is for Sir John. The question is, was the landslide area part of any hazard map? Do you think using drone-derived imagery plus maps can help update your hazard maps and perhaps your land use plans?
Yung sa hazard maps kasi, dapat kasi nanggagaling sa MGB yun eh. But sa land use plans, definitely makakatulong siya. Actually, mas nagagamit namin sa land use maps ng yung mga drones. Eh. Kaso lang, maliit nga lang yung scope kasi ng quadcopter. So, mas matagal magmapa. So, we're using, fortunately, meron kaming satellite imagery. So, mas mabilis kami nakakapag-map using the imagery. Pero definitely, it's the same na mas matagal lang makapture yung ng drone.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Ito may question kanina kay for Sir Elmo and Sir RJ. I'm just gonna read it again. May specific po ba kayong app na gamitin for mobile data collection or ODK will do? So I think nasagot po ito ni Sir Elmo, which is Kobo.
Yes, I think also RJ can also add some inputs.
Yes,
Sige.
before we are doing this training also with ODK, but with the evaluation, yung suggestion ng participant na why not Kobo na lang. So kaya kami rin nag-switch sa Kobo kasi parang medyo I don't know if nahirapan or mas easier sa kanila yung Kobo.
Yes, mas ano nga daw, mas user-friendly yung Kobo over the yung isa ano ganing isa yung ODK. Yeah.
Okay. Sir, just for everyone na hindi familiar sa Kobo, ano po ulit yung Kobo? What does it stand for? And is it an app that you built your own or is it an app built by another organization?
So
Okay.
yung Kobo Toolbox is hello. So yung
Yes,
Kobo
yes,
Toolbox is free or open source na tool na pwede kang gather ng data using your mobile device or tablets without using the internet. So you could also, for example, you have your pen and paper based na mga forms, you could translate it digitally. So yung form mo na pen and paper, i-input mo siya on digital format, and then you would deploy it. So for example, you created a form and then you want to generate data all over the Mindanao with your data collectors. So you just have to create your account, free account, and then deploy yung nagawa mong form all over your colleagues, for example, sa all over Mindanao, and then they would use it to collect data. So yung Kobo and ODK uses yung sensors ng phone, like the camera, the GPS, to also add sa na-collect na data. So hindi lang siya text input or number input, meron din siyang image and then location.
Okay. Thank you, RJ. We have a question here from Prof. Ting Lopez. Does the land governance project in Mindanao address conflicting land claims? If so, what initiatives have been taken?
Okay, thank you. Yes, we are also into this. No, we are channeling through the JAW, the Joint Administrative Order that involves the four major land-related agencies, which is the DNR, the NCIP, DAR, and the LRA, I think. And I think that was in 2012. Then There's a new JAW now. I think most of you are familiar with it. And we are also doing or encouraging or promoting regular, or even in Region 13, there's an ongoing regular meeting on JAW. No? And this JAW is because di ba may apat sila na agencies. Yung apat na agencies, they're rotating the hosting of the meetings, no, in order to tackle the land management issues, in order to tackle the specific objectives of the JAW. So I think that's one of the initiatives there. But we also have the dialogue process, to, yung mga conflict sensitive approach, or the CSA. So there's a lot of process, but we channel primarily in the JAW. No? Doon kami dumadaan sa JAW. Of course, with the coordination of with the respective government agencies. And for the by the way, gusto ko lang i-add, no, ang primary partner namin sa land governance is the LMB, no, headed by Attorney Talads. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you,
So if
sir.
you can add, siguro baka may ma-add si RJ.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Elmo.
Thank
RJ,
you.
do you have anything to add to that, or okay
None
na?
from my side.
Okay, thank you. Guys, if you have questions, use the Q&A feature. Meron akong isang babasahin na nasa chat. So, okay. So from Sir Joshua Donato. Do you have a case somewhere where drones used to resolve issues in overlapping boundaries, for example, the ancestral domain claim and protected area boundaries? How did you make it happen if there is?
I think that goes for us, right?
Yes, sir.
Josh? Okay. Yes, yun nga. With the community mapping, with the JAW, usually sa community mapping napapag-usapan yan lahat. So, ano yan, i-lay down lahat yan, no? Yung mga nakikita natin sa map. Like for example, we focus in the presentation, we focus only in 3 barangays. Then there's a lot of issues, overlapping issues, no? Yung for example, yung isang farmer, yung kanyang farm is dalawa silang nagmamayari, 2 o 3. Then, and on top of that, yung kanyang farm is nasa boundary ng other barangays. And nasa loob pa ng protected area and different, nasa kabilang LGU pa. So madami. So I think the community mapping really helped. No? That is just one, pero maraming process yan at the different. Of course, yun, going back nga sa JAW, no? Natatackle din yung usap-usapan niyan. I mean, the issues and the concerns of those concerned, no? Natatackle or na-address through the objective of the JAW, the Joint Administrative Order.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Elmo. I think yung... sige, Ms. Rhea, please.
Yeah, in addition lang to Sir Elmo, so
Yes.
GIZ has been conducting studies din documenting yung mga experiences dun sa mga areas with ng ancestral domains, protected areas. And these are yung mga inputs na ito are being elevated dun sa mga agencies concerned, like for example NCIP and DNR through the Biodiversity Management Bureau, so that makapag-come up ng policies to resolve this issue. So like for example yung sa PA boundaries and ancestral domains, this might not be covered by the Joint Administrative Order. So kailangan ng parang bagong policy to resolve the issues. So yung mga experiences and documented experiences sa ground are being used as basis para dun sa policy development.
Just to add also, no, para mas ma-concretize yun, yung sa community mapping namin, i-highlight yan siya sa timely updating nung for example, Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary. Yung protected area management plan nila is due for updating this year, this 2020. So, i-highlight namin yung result ng community mapping which discuss or which ang result talaga is yung sa mga overlapping claims and yung mga nag-overlap na mga boundaries. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Ray. And, yeah.
Okay.
And
Thank you,
also,
Sir Elmo.
Just want to add, sir.
Sige, Sir Ryan, go.
Kaya din pala nagka-idea yung aming boss na mag-purchase ng fixed-wing drone with PPK module. So siguro para to produce mass accurate maps and to be used further or sooner sa mga ganitong issues.
Okay, thank you, Sir Ryan. I think the good thing sa project ng GIZ is apart from they've been conducting drone flights and also training, is the social component, the community mapping component, where you get the people together and really settle out disputes or make it clear for the beneficiaries and the residents themselves na kung hanggang saan ba yung lupain nila, etc. Walang questions dito. So I think the panelists, if you have questions, I have. I have a question for Sir John. Sir, in your presentation, you've shown how drones were used in search and rescue operations. Sir, may question lang ako. When you fly the drone, let's assume na siguro you fly it for 10 minutes and in a certain 10 to 20 minutes in a certain small area. How long was the processing of the image? Do you go to the office or you have a laptop with you and then you process it on the spot? Kasi syempre if you see a person na someone's stuck here in this tree, syempre dapat agad, kung as much as possible, agad-agad yung pag-respond. So sir, yung question ko is how long is the processing, the flying before you could actually respond to or to rescue someone in the area?
Yung pre-flight, syempre may pre-flight, so ginalaw muna sa mobile device, tapos sa process namin sa sa loob lang sa sasakyan, dun lang sa baba ng malapit lang sa landslide area. Then so para ma-initial agad kami na mapa. Then after the day, sa office kami nag-print. So doon na namin inayos sa GIS. Pero re-render na namin sa laptop lang. So we can quickly process it sa around mga siguro abutin lang kami ng mga sa render, wala nga 30 minutes yung render eh.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi maliit lang yung area. Around 168 photos eh. Tapos mabilisan lang naman eh. Kasi may time element na kailangan na mabilis lang yung output.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Do you have any questions, panelists? Or comments? Sige, sir.
Okay. Ryan. So, kasi meron kasi ko isang slide nyo, yung ginamit yung drone, is yung DJI na may built-in na screen. So,
yeah.
Parang alam ko kasi mga yun eh, hindi siya nakakabitan na yung flight planning software, pero parang nagamit yun. Ano yung ginamit yun?
Yes, sir. Kasi yung present namin earlier is yung one drone doon is Phantom 4, which is donated by the GIZ before on the previous program. And then yung Phantom 4 version 2 or plus, plus, yung may built-in screen is in-acquire or binili ng Penro Region 13. So nakabili sila na hindi pala compatible with the mapping flight planning software. So ginawa na lang namin ng paraan. So meron din kaming documentation kung paano magagamit yung Phantom 4 Pro Plus. So gumawa kami ng documentation. Meron lang siyang apps na gumagana like yung drone deploy na may ganitong version. So meron kaming documentation na pwede namin din ma-share sa others na para siya ma-utilize pa rin siya into mapping activities.
Okay, nice. Kasi dati ang solusyon daw is bumili ng bagong controller na walang built-in.
So yun, ginawa na lang namin ng paraan, nag-research over the net.
Right, nice.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Volz and Ryan. Oh, we have questions here na. From Sir Melvin Candelario. Great drone use in Sorsogon disaster rescue. How about remote sensing? Did you have or can we have something installed in susceptible areas already identified on hazard maps? Okay, that's for Sir John.
Yung sa remote sensing, wala pa kami nun eh. But yung maganda yan sa area.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir Rene, are you raising your hand or just praying? Okay. Next question from Prof. Ping Lopez. Okay, are there land claims within the Agusan Marsh area? If so, with UAS, how is the land and water interface delineated? I think this is for the GIZ folks. Sir, naka-mute po kayo.
Oh yes, as presented kanina, may mga overlaps within and just along the protected area. Kasi ang nangyari dyan, just to go back sa history, ang nangyari kasi dyan, before 19,000 hectares lang yung the Agusan Marsh. So yung 19,000 may span of ilang years yan, 'di ba? Before nag-expand na into 40,000. So yung 19,000 of course na declare na yon na protected area, then yung mga tao and yung mga locals doon naglagay na ng may mga may mga land claims, land owners na doon na nag-claim doon. May mga titles, may mga CLOA, no? Then nung nag-expand ang dito sa Inay Pass, no? Nag-expand so na-cover yun siya. Napasok sa loob ng expanded Agusan Marsh. Yes, meron. Tapos this is now the challenge, or this is now being addressed by the DNR, the provincial government, and the LGU. So ang nangyayari ngayon is natatakot yung mga tao kasi anong gagawin sa amin? Paalisin ba kami or ano bang may babayaran ba kami? So that is now being addressed, no? Ang ginagawa, syempre, ang una diyan is with the talks with the different partners like the DNR, NCIP, the ADAR, and the provincial government, and even the local government. Syempre, ang unang sabihin nila is gagawa ng paraan, wala namang papaalisin, but ima-manage, bigyan lang ng parang management step. But I don't know the updates now. I think that will be covered also by the updating of the protected area management plan with this 2020. But yeah, thank you for the question. So ganun yung nangyayari ngayon. So thank you.
Thank you, Sir Elmo. May tanong dito ulit si Prof. Ping. So guys, graded recitation. Joke lang. How are drones reshaping the future of search and rescue operations in the Philippines? I think Sir John and also the rest of the panelists can answer this one. So Sir John, sa inyo pong palagay.
Mas accurate yung sa search and rescue kasi mas hit and miss eh. So mas binibigyan niya ng accuracy yung operations eh. So accurate, fast, reliable yung data na ibibigay sa iyo. Unlike sa map sketch, yung hindi ka pa naka-scale yun. Mas mahirap yun. Kaysa sa unlike sa drone, mas mabilis. Weather lang ang naghihinder sa drone eh. So yan.
In addition, Jan, yung di ba sinabi mo nung sa presentation na mas naging systematic yung search nila. So, they were able to parang pinpoint a specific area kung saan based on also the ang tawag niyan, yung mga input from mga survivor ba ang tawag, or yung mga na-retrieve, na-rescue na. So they were able to pinpoint an area. Mas naging systematic yung approach nila kung saan lang pupunta ang mga rescuers.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Rhea. About you, Sir Volts, what do you think? The role of drones in search and rescue? Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, same lang ganun. Yeah, mas mabilis nga. Real time yung pag-ano niya. Pag-update. Yeah. So, yun lang, same lang din naman yung observation ko na.
If I may add,
Sige, Sir Elmo.
yung sa search and rescue din, mas, di ba, yung general rule nung saving lives is dapat safe muna yung nagse-save, di ba? So, mas safer actually ang use of drones in search and rescue. Ganun sa tingin ko, no, kasi especially yung hindi naaabot ng mga tao na pupuntahan agad, so napupuntahan ng drones. So ang challenge na lang is yung proficiency or yung capacity or yung familiarity ng operator. But it will save more lives for me, no. Jay, go.
Sir Jan, magtatanong lang ako.
Ms. Rhea, can you, medyo mahina po yung nyo.
Ako. Sir,
Ayan.
para kay Sir John Palma. Na-document niyo po ba yung search and rescue operations niyo para for sharing? Kasi parang this is an innovation na others can also benefit from.
Yung documentation sa pag-mapping itself, parang hindi namin na-document masyado kasi yung area mismo ng pagliliparan namin, medyo nagdadalawa kami na hindi namin wala na kaming time makapag-picture. Pero yung blow by blow na steps, kaya pa namin i-reconstruct. Yung photos lang yung wala. Tapos add ko pa rin para sa drones. May bagong technology ngayon yung na mayroon ng heat sensor yung camera. So, yun, mas dagdag yun sa search and rescue. Mas mabilis yun, mas maganda.
Thank you. Sir, may pahabol lang si Prof. Ping. Have you tried equipping the drone with thermal imaging cameras? Yung nag-search and rescue kayo?
Yung panahon na yun, yung 2018, wala. Yung drone namin walang thermal imaging eh. Tapos the year after that or lumabas na yung thermal imaging capacity ng drone. So wala kaming thermal imaging nun eh. Maganda sana. Kaso lang mahal ang thermal imaging eh.
Pero I think
worth it sana.
Sir, another question to you, Sir John. Concern from Esther Suson. Concerning drone use for search and rescue, do you think it would be more cost efficient in the long run, even in asking for and deploying emergency responders? Kung cost efficient siya.
Cost efficient, yes. Tapos safe sa responders. Kasi pag search and rescue operations, number one priority mo, hindi naman yung victim yung responders mo Safety ng responders mo So, mas mauuna yung drone. So, mas makikita mo yung mga areas na hazardous for your responders and your operations. So, yun. In the long run talaga, mas sulit ang drone.
Thank you, sir. Another question. I think this is for everyone. Any recommended drones for severe weather conditions?
Sa ngayon, siguro wala pa
Madaming lumalabas sa di ba, sa YouTube or sa Facebook. But I think RJ can add pero usually naman kung magpapalipad ng drone kung hindi search and rescue, hindi naman yung adverse weather condition, di ba? So as much as possible doon tayo sa yung tamang-tamang weather lang But for rescue and operation, I think may ginagawa na sila o may lumalabas na sa, I'm not sure lang, may lumalabas na sa YouTube, sa Facebook na waterproof, maski mag-take off nga sa water, di ba? Lumalabas. And yan na yung ginagamit mismo ng mga other countries. I don't know.
All-weather drone.
To add, sir, yung
Yes,
Swell Pro na drone. Nakakita ko nito dinemo sa nag-take off sa water. So I think 120 yata yung price niya, 120,000.
120,000 yung ganun na.
Pero hindi siya ang purpose niya is not for producing maps or mapping.
For lang capturing videos.
Swell Pro yung model.
Okay. Sir John, I saw you raising your hand.
Yung sa drone kasi parang parang total, pag may severe weather conditions, may lull naman yan Mabilisan lang nalipad Ganun ginawa namin Pag tumagit yung ulan ng konti, babalik namin yung drone. Tapos pag ililipad naman namin ulit. Parang may basta, hindi naman all throughout, uulan na malakas So, aabang ka lang talaga sa gumanda yung, acceptable yung weather para sa lumipad yung drone. Tsaka pag severe, hindi naman stable yung drone Hindi maganda yung capture.
Masira pa yung
Masira pa yung.
Thank you, sir. Last, I think this is the last question for all of us again. How much would it cost for the device or the drone that you're using? Magkano? Sir John, around how much yung ginamit yung drone?
Yung sa amin, Mavic Pro lang yung ginamit namin So, it's affordable sa isang LGU yun. Yung
Sir,
first version pa.
Ilan yung drones niyo po?
Isa lang.
Okay.
Oo. So, we make do what we have. So, kung lang.
ways na ma-maximize.
Yes.
Sa inyo,
RJ.
Sir Elmo,
RJ can add. No?
yung ano nyo, yung fixed wing nyo.
Yung by the way, before RJ, no,
Ah.
sa project, may ano lang to, during the project, bumibili ng drones yung project. So, one for us and one for the partner. But in the end, dinodonate rin namin lahat sa partners yung mga na purchase na equipment. So, together with the laptop, with the tab, with everything, no. So I think and plus the software, yung may mga terrain awareness, and RJ can give the details. Thank you.
Partner na tayo sa GIZ. Oh.
So yun, sa project kasi is hindi lang drone. So bumibili din ng equipment. So hardware, also software for the processing. Sa drone namin, currently we have Mavic 2 Pro ngayon sa office. Yung other drones is donated na the Phantom 4 Pro. And then yung padating na drone is ordered in Germany. It's around 18,000 euro.
Convert
18,000 euro.
Times
Fixed wing vertical takeoff and landing drone. Sa specification niya, I don't know if
in peso, Jay, magkano, Jay, in peso?
I-times na lang daw sa 55.
Almost 2 million.
Basta
Almost
2 million. Okay.
Kaya, kasi kaya daw mahal is it is equipped with this PPK module and then long endurance. I don't know if it's true, hindi pa namin na-try na it could cover in one battery daw na sa specification 700 hectares in one flight.
Wow.
1.5 hour yung flight time. I don't know if it's really
1.5. Wow.
true.
700 hectares.
Oh. Bolts.
But going back to the question, no? Going back to the question, magkano
Okay,
yung
Sir Elmo.
I think yung Mavic, it's around 70 to 90, di ba? 70 to 90.
Mavic Zoom is 70 plus, 75 plus, and then Mavic 2 Pro is 98 with one battery. With the Phantom series, phase out na siya. Also consider din pala yung sinasabi ni Sir Elmo, yung equipment. If ang purpose mo is for mapping, kailangan mo mag-invest sa, if ipo-process mo siya offline, so powerful computer. If ipo-process mo siya online, so software, also software din for the processing software. Medyo mahal din kasi yung mga cost nun.
Gaano kamahal ang medyo mahal? Volts, alam mo yun.
How affordable daw yung drone for sa purposes ng LGU and for mapping?
Jay, tirahin mo na.
Sabi niya na yung sa
But
yung like for example yung may RTK, PPK.
Miss Rhea, can you hindi ka namin marinig masyado.
Yung kung magkano yung may RTK, PPK na fixed wing or quadcopter or copter. Quadcopter.
Yung pinaka least na check namin na quadcopter with RTK is Phantom 4 Pro RTK. 400 before 450 lang siya, ngayon 475 na. Yun yung pinaka least with RTK.
Just to add, no, ang for LGUs din or for our partners sa DNR, we also emphasize na mag-invest din sila sa batteries. Kasi may times, may mga experience din kami na malalayo yung lugar kasi dapat within the 5 kilometer radius nandun ka eh. Tapos may time na walang charger sa taas, but now meron ng mga portable charger. Yun, kailangan talaga mag-invest ng batteries. Ang ginawa namin before, yung wala pa yung mga portable chargers, lahat ng mga DNR province na merong drone na the same na Phantom 4, hiram namin yung mga batteries just to maximize yung sa isang area. Kasi for example, no, one of our sites before is yung Mount Apo. And going sa Mount Apo, it's 1 to 2 hour climb dapat para maabot mo yung sa may strict protection and multiple use zone. So it's about almost more than 1,000 meters mass L. Mass L, no? 1,000 mass L. So kailangan namin ng batteries. So yun nga, ang maganda lang sa Phantom 4 and Phantom 4 Pro, compatible yung mga batteries nila. I think for some of the models rin ng Mavic, yun, compatible. They can save mga ganun, or they can borrow from other LGUs, or they can borrow from other Senros or even Penros. Yung mga ganun. Nag-device na lang kami. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you Sir Elmo. So yun yung price range ng mga drones. So you can also Google them kasi sometimes most of the time nagbabago yung prices nila depending on the, of course, supply and demand. One last question and then we'll end. Sir Ryan, can you share what is other software you use for image processing? Ano daw po yung mga software na gamit niyo sa pag-process ng image?
We tried using din yung web ODM, and then drone deploy, and then before nung may free trial pa yung precision mapper. We also tried that one, but now wala na siyang free trial. And then Fix4D, we tried it for trial versions, and then yung in-acquire ng project is yung GIZ Metashape kasi siya yung medyo reasonable siguro yung price. It cost us 186,000 pesos for the GIZ Metashape. So it runs offline, so hindi namin kailangan ng internet, especially sa field. If we want to check ano yung overview na map, so we could do it sa field, kahit small area. So yun yung mga softwares na na-try namin before.
Thank you, Sir Ryan. Also may add dito si Sir Sorvi sa chat box. He said na I also suggest using portable in relation to the battery concern. I also suggest using portable power pack gensets for field deployments. If you'll be near vehicles, it's wise to invest on inverters. Okay. So someone commented here sa Q&A, sana we have drones to detect those with COVID-19. We hope we would have that soon, pero let's see, how do you detect someone who has COVID-19? I don't know what kind of thermal scanner would you'd be needing for that. Okay, so anyways, I'm officially closing the Q&A Q&A part of this webinar. Let me now call Sir Rene Sanapo, our team leader, to give the closing remarks for this season. Sir Rene, take it away. We can't hear you.
Hindi pa rin.
Just sir, enable siguro your mic. So sir, while Sir Rene is fixing his mic, so just want to share na here, of course, here also in FEF, we've done several drone flights and we've also experienced na nawalan kami naubos yung battery namin. Minsan, human error, hindi ko na-charge pala yung battery. Sinaksak ko lang, but I didn't check na hindi pala naka-on yung source ng power, or yung sa barangay kung saan kami nagpapalipad, nawala ng kuryente and we have to travel 30 minutes to go back to the city, magcha-charge. It happens. I think every drone flight is different. Walang same. And you get to learn along the process na I should do this, I should bring this next time. Yung van, meron naman van, ubusan ng gas. So iba-iba talaga. Okay, so Rene, are you ready? What? You don't have an audio? You planned for this,
While waiting, ma'am
Sige,
Angela,
Sir Ryan.
pwede i-share ni Sir Elmo yung experience niya din sa drone casualties.
Okay, yes. Since nagpalabasan na ng mga experiences, so kami, sa iyo, battery, nakalimutan mo, di ba? Sa akin, yes, memory card. Memory card. Then nasa taas na kami ng mga 2,000 meters above na. Then kailangan ko bumalik sa sasakyan kasi I was thinking na nakalagay na sa kinopya namin yung the previous day, kinopya yung di ba, SD card. yung laman ng SD card. So I have to go back down, then akyat na naman. So imagine, no, nagkadag ka. So of course, same with Jan, no, na at least may tulong din yung background for as a mountaineer before, no, yung mga kabataan days, nakatulong rin, pero yun, cardio mo. And yung meron din kami mga experiences sa eagle fight and yung lost road sa Mount Apo. And before then, yung bago pa lang sa UAV sa Mount Apo, we lost 3 times, no, yung map, pero good thing na recover namin. Ano lang, parang basic orienteering or basic mapping lang yung ginawa namin kasi nawala ng battery, then we follow the flight plan route. Then doon lang namin binaybay yung drone. Then we ask people, no, on the ground. May iba nga tinanggal pa yung battery at tinago na yung drone. Buti lang may mga nakapagsabi and people are aware. Important rin yung local knowledge and local coordination talaga.
Local coordination.
Thank you. Yun lang.
Thank you, Sir Elmo. How about you, Sir Rene? Are you ready? Or wala talaga? Okay. So mukhang may something wrong with Sir Rene's audio. I think I'll ask the rest of the panelists to just give a few closing final words before we officially close this the season 2 webinar. Let me start with Sir George. Sir George is one of our consultants in making policies, in proposing policies for land administration management. Sir George, any final words of wisdom to our attendees and to everyone?
Ayan, sa lahat po ng sumubaybay starting from dun sa season 1 and ngayon this season 2, maraming salamat. We hope that this series on do's and don'ts have added to your already mga naiipong knowledge tungkol dito sa drones. And we hope that sa susunod na season, nandiyan pa rin at kasama pa rin namin kayo para dito sa mga ating mga webinars. So yun lang, and stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir George. How about you, Sir Volts?
Okay, sige. Thank you rin sa mga lahat ng mga nag-participate, sa mga natin umattend. So kung meron pa kayong mga tanong or questions, pwede kayong mag-message sa mga social media ng TPR. So, yan. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Volts. Ms. Rhea.
Super dami pa ng applications ng drones, no? Marami tayong na-miss out, like yung sa DPWH, Department of Agriculture. But since, ayun, meron talagang katapusan yung season, pero malay natin, we will have
mag-renew.
Stay tuned sa announcement sa aming Technology for Property Rights Facebook page. We will be having other activities, webinars in the future. So subaybayan nyo lang po kami. At maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsubaybay sa Do's and Don'ts.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Hi naman dyan to our comms. Cesar, any words, final words?
Thank you so much.
Sir Rene, may audio na ata.
Sir Rene, may audio ka na. You can start talking.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I'd like to thank everybody who's joining us, especially also our audience and our speakers. We're very happy to have our speakers today. No, our series started out focusing solely on surveying talaga with the use of drones, but over time we have evolved into sharings on the use of drones, not only for surveying but for other applications. Yung applications today are particularly interesting sa DRR, so and what I like about the presentations today is that these are based on actual experiences on the ground, right? Ang maganda dito kasi hindi siya theoretical, there's a real problem that you are solving with the use of drones. So kumbaga, it's not a vitamin, it's a medicine talaga, it's a solution to a problem. We would like to do something more along this line. So Angela and Cesar will be working on another season of Do's and Don'ts. No? And we hope, we think that it will cover more sessions or sharings on the use of spatial information per se. So maybe in some of those applications or uses of spatial information, ginagamit ang drones, maybe in some of those applications, remote sensing ang ginagamit, or other forms of gathering and analyzing spatial information. So we can look forward to that. We're still trying to come up with a nice title. Baka Do's and Don'ts pa rin, Season 3, or The Life of the Drone Flyer. Parang Korean telenovela. So, but again, also thank you to Angela and to Cesar, who have worked hard for this, and to Bolts and Sir George and Rhea for their leadership and their support. Thank you very much.
Applause naman dyan. Angela, applause naman dyan. Thank you so much, everyone. Fly lang, fly. Pag nag-fly kayo, madami pa kayong matututunan.
Somebody raised.
Salamat po, salamat.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you also to LMB, Sir Lency. Thank you.